Rocky Top Insider postgame here with friend of the program, Ben McKee of Go Vols 247. Rick Butler out spending some off-date time in Texas. Been nice enough to join me. Ben, Tennessee loses in its charity exhibition game to Indiana 66-62. Score kind of tells the story. An ugly game offensively, really both sides. Obviously with Tennessee, what stood out the most about the Vols' offensive struggles?
The poor shooting woes.
Yeah.
It was an ugly shooting night for Tennessee tonight, and a lot of the shooting struggles were from key guys that Tennessee is going to need to have big seasons. You start first with Chaz Lanier, who shot the ball well against Davidson in the secret scrimmage last Sunday, and today he finished
3 of 16, 2 of 12 from 3.
not ideal.
No.
And Zakai Ziegler, he had his moments where he looked like Zakai Ziegler, nearly had a double-double on points and assists. But his shooting, I believe, 2 of 10 is what he
all
finished.
From 3.
All from 3.
Yeah.
Was 7 of 8 at the free throw line, but 2 of 10 shooting from the field. Did not take a shot with inside the three-point line, and then also had a bad forced shot there at the end when Tennessee was down 3. And Rick Barnes said post-game when we just got done talking to him that Zakai needed to call a timeout because he was not executing the play that was called there at the very end. So there were others, but kind of starts and stops with those guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of honestly looking a little reminiscent to one other time we've done this together. Back at Starkville last year, Zakai forces a deep 3 in a similar spot when obviously Dalton had a big second half. But no, you're right. And Chaz hits his first 3 of the game, and then just ice cold from there. And I think Tennessee was 0 for 5 before then, 1 of 14. It's the first game without Dalton Connect, so you're looking at the offense. The whole story for how this offense is going to be good. A lot of shooters around Zakai. That certainly wasn't there tonight.
No, not at all. I mean, there was. I mean, Jemai looked good when he got his feet set and shot the basketball. And I guess if you want to look at it from a glass half full perspective, they took a lot of open shots.
Yeah.
The offense, the scheme. I've already seen social media blaming Rick Barnes. Because,
shocker.
I know, that's the shocker of the century there. I don't know how you can blame Rick Barnes tonight when the shots that were missed were wide open shots within his offense that his offense helps create. The guys just were not knocking down shots. So that's the glass half full approach, I guess. The glass half empty is Rick did say that they wanted at times to work inside out with Felix Akpara, and at times they struggled to feed him the basketball. There also was a stretch, and this is where the exhibition part of it comes into play. Indiana goes on a 10-0 run that proves to be the difference of the game. It helped Indiana close out the game on a 16-8 run. And Rick Barnes purposefully, because it is an exhibition, took Zakai Ziegler out, puts in Bishop Boswell, the true freshman, Darlington Dubar, who only played 5 minutes. He comes in as well, and that lineup it struggled to say the least.
Yeah, and that is a good point. The exhibition, Indiana, all 5 of their starters play over 30 minutes. Zakai plays 36. We knew Zakai's going to have to play a lot. That point, I mean, he comes out for 3 minutes and things kind of collapse like a house of cards for Tennessee. And Akpara at 31. No one else played more than 30. Sticking on the offensive end, I think maybe to me a bigger concern, because I think this Tennessee team's going to hit shots. They're not going to shoot that poorly. Certainly a level of concern there. Tennessee took 33 threes tonight, only 13 shots at the rim. To me, that's been the big question. Can they get some sort of consistent 2-point production? Who besides Zakai Ziegler can put pressure on the defense? That really was not there tonight at all.
No, not at all. You'd like to see Chaz penetrate and create at the basket, finish at the basket more than he did. I think it's something that we'll really learn about this basketball team in hindsight and down the road, because if they're hitting all the open shots that they took tonight and missed, then it doesn't put as much pressure on you to try and get to the rim, and you're looking at it a little bit differently. But at the team, because we have seen Rick Barnes' teams before have plenty of open shots, and it's just not a great shooting team, and you need to kind of alter what you're doing. So I think 10, 15 games into this thing, we'll really get a feel for it. Again, if they start making those shots, then you feel less concerned about that area. I agree with you. When you're not hitting shots, you maybe need to, maybe that's the thing coming out of it tonight, maybe be quicker to adjust and try to get the ball inside the paint. And also, J.P. Estrella didn't play a ton.
True.
A, coming off a stress fracture in his foot from the summer. B, bumped knees, I believe it was, with Jemai Mashack. Both of those guys were questionable coming in. JP, I think, is more of the guy than Felix that can be that, put him on the block, and he goes and gets you a bucket. Maybe if he's healthier and more available, then maybe that's a different formula that we see tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And Jemiah, guy Rick Barnes mentioned, was attacking the basket, was trying to penetrate more. We talked about 2 transfers, Chaz, D-Stone, just 5 minutes. Kind of a lot of what we've seen, just kind of forget he's out there at times. 2 other guys in the front court. There's a lot of excitement about them. Igor Milicic, Felix Akpara. What did you see from those 2?
I thought Igor looked fine. His defense is ahead of the offense, and I don't know that I expected to see that. The first thing Rick said after the game was that his rebounding stood out to him. He rebounded the basketball really well, which was very obvious. So I thought Igor was okay. The good thing is I do think he has a higher ceiling than just okay, and Tennessee's certainly going to need more than just okay from him. But that was my first impression of him in game action. I thought Felix was really strong. I thought what you got from Felix tonight, maybe not perfect at times, but that's the Felix Akpara that you need every single night. I think maybe there's a little more in the tank offensively, but he had a couple of nice shots on the offensive end. He had one right here over Balo for an and one. That was a really tough play, tough basket for him to make. And then defensively, he just flies all over the floor. So I thought what you got from Akpara tonight is what you're going to need, just maybe a little bit more offensively. One thought that I had watching Akpara with Cade Phillips on the floor, if Cade can sustain 10 to 15 minutes a game and be a true role player on this team, opposing offenses are not going to have fun when Felix and Cade are both on the floor at the same time, because those 2 guys fly around together at the same time.
Yeah, I do. And Akpara, you mentioned a little bit more offense. I think it's really, it didn't come to him, I guess, is the way. There wasn't a bunch of lob opportunities. That's what we expected. I think really he did more than I thought when it comes to putting the ball with Balo on his back and scoring. And some of that, not a lot of offensive rebounds. That's probably an area you'd like to see a little bit more from him. But again, he had the hardest matchup of anybody on the court against one of the best big men in the country. And his physicality, I think, especially after some of Tennessee's struggles against big men last year, that really stood out. And then Igor, I think he hit the nail on the head. I think the negative is not too much of a negative. Didn't create a bunch offensively. He let the game come to him. I don't think he pressed, which was good, which I think you saw that from some guys for Tennessee. And then defensively was solid, and then the rebounding was the biggest thing. He looks like a guy that is going to be fine playing as the stretch 4, can hold up on defensive rebounding. Tennessee 8 days away from opening things up against Gardner-Webb. Still pretty close after the game, but what's your concern level for this game? What do you want to see? Probably less against Gardner-Webb, but Louisville, I guess, 13 days away when Tennessee gets its first real test in the regular season.
Yeah, and Louisville didn't play the level of competition Tennessee did.
No.
But Louisville they didn't look like Louisville.
They didn't look like the last 2 years.
Which is a great thing for Louisville fans.
Yeah.
So, my concern level, I'm somewhat concerned. I thought the offense would be a bit further ahead than I anticipated, or what they showed tonight. And who knows? Maybe this proves to be a one-off. Maybe this was simply a bad shooting night, which every team in the country has a handful each year. Maybe we get to the Bahamas or the end of December around Christmas time, and we look back on this and think, oh, that's just a poor shooting night. So I'm kind of in wait-and-see mode, but certainly there are some things to be concerned about. I'll chalk Chaz up to being a poor shooting night. To me, the bigger concern is Darlin Stone-Dubar only playing 5 minutes. And not that I expected him to play a Chaz Lanier type of role, but they didn't go into the portal and get him to come and play 5 minutes. And Rick said after the game that it's all about what he does in practice and understanding what they want from him. So maybe you pair him with Igor and not as far along as a duo as I thought they would be at the 4 position. So there's certainly some concerns on the team. Backup point guard. I did think Gainey actually looked fairly fine handling the ball today. So maybe not the true point guard that Bishop Boswell is. So maybe that's not as much of a worry as I was about to say. But my concern level, look, it's an exhibition. They got open shots. They didn't make them. Social media is going to make way too much out of this.
That doesn't sound right.
Exactly. But there are certainly some things that made you raise your eyebrow.
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said, wait and see. Worrisome stuff for sure, but not the end of the world. The one I'll always go to for forever now. It just happened last year. Arkansas beat Purdue in an exhibition game. Purdue makes the Final Four. Arkansas coach, I guess, didn't get fired, but kind of ran out of town.
And the defense looked better than I thought it would. I thought the defense would be not what it typically is at the start of the year. The defense was impressive against a really good Indiana team. So if the defense is going to look like that, then shooting will come along at some point, and you've got the makings of a really good basketball team.
Gardner-Webb 8 days away. That's been McKee, Go Vols 247. Ryan Schumpert, RTI. Thanks for watching.